Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Docs Huddle, your gateway to an in-depth connection between sports medicine and in the latest events in sports, fantasy, and betting. Today's show is brought to you by the Health and Wellness Depot. Unlock the power of well-being. I want to apologize for my voice as I lost it 2 weeks ago, and it's slowly coming back, so I want everyone to bear with me. I thank you for your patience with that. With that being said, very exciting show we have today. Dr. MJB, the legend, with me. CJ, the sports enthusiast, is off doing research. So for today, you are going to have the legend himself. And as you know, I'm Dr. Mikey B. Today's show, running backs, okay? Fantasy football running backs. Looking very forward to the show because people's fantasy drafts, including one of mine, are coming up as of an hour from now. So this is pertinent information right after today's show on running backs. Stay tuned. If you're interested in tight ends, we're going to be having a follow-up show immediately after on tight ends. The legend, take it away.
All right. So we already ran through quarterbacks and wide receivers. So now running backs are up. Okay. So listen, a lot of prep went into this one. It wasn't as easy as some may think it would be. And I know we're going to disagree on some of these guys, but overall, I think there's a solid 8 to 10 that I think we'll agree on. May just have them in different order. So without further ado, man, I'll have you pull my list up. And while you're doing that, I'm going to have two guys as honorable mentions, okay?
All right, fair enough.
Omarion Hampton. I know he hasn't played it down in the league yet, but I think that he is with Harbaugh, with the Chargers. Yep. I think that that's a run-first team. I think even though they have Najee Harris, I think at some point during the season, he's going to take a bulk of the snaps because he is just that damn good. Okay.
And don't forget, this guy can catch out of the backfield, which if you're playing in a PPR league, this is a guy you cannot sleep on. Okay. Because when they do throw the ball, which isn't going to be often, they're still going to be likely to check down, and he's going to be the guy that's in on those passing plays.
1,000%. And then my other honorable mention would be Chase Brown from the Bengals. I think he does have potential to have a stellar year, but I just didn't put him in my top 12. So with further ado, let's get right into it. Listen, I think it speaks for itself. Mr. Bijan Robinson, dude, him and Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, bring elements to the game that are just stunning. And you made me realize that. Bro, I thought when I saw you drop these guys, I was like, oh, okay, that's cute.
For the record,
they went off.
Yes, for those who are listening, last season I drafted Bijan in the first round and Jahmyr in the second round. And when I drafted Jahmyr, I was getting a lot of comments that was way early for a guy who was sharing backs with David Montgomery. And I said, oh, you'll see. And sure enough, the true people's champ, Mike.
No. Well, those are the two guys on my list that both had 1,400 yards rushing and over 50 receptions, dude. Like, that's stellar. So, like, even though Jahmyr Gibbs still shares carries, like, to put up numbers like that, there's no reason not to think that. I actually think that he's better than David Montgomery. I just think that they just are so committed to the two-headed monster that they're going to split carries, which is smart because you save them. But, man, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud. He reminds me – he's a better version of what I thought Alvin Kamara was going to be.
Yes.
And the reason I say better version, because even on his best season, Alvin Kamara, I don't even think it was one, dude. I don't know if he's at 1,000 yards. And so it's like, and there's times, like, you're the guy now. I'm not sure why you can't break 1,000, but
I think he has. It's just that Gibbs has done it in a more impressive fashion.
1,000 splitting carries, easy. So I have Bijan and Jahmyr as my 1 and 2.
Yep.
Mr. Saquon 2K, as long as he's healthy, man, he has value. You could argue he could be higher, but health is the reason I have him at 3. You just year in and year out, you just don't know.
I think it's very valuable, especially being that now he's the head of the Madden cover.
Yeah, exactly. Number 4, I have Ashton Genty. I think that he comes in. I actually think that he's gonna do numbers with the Raiders, dude. I think that any coach that has Geno Smith, right, he's a decent quarterback. He's not great, so you're not gonna put everything into his hands. So you're going to rely on the running game. And Pete Carroll is notorious for doing that, dude. So I can't imagine anything would be any different while in Oakland. So I think Ashton would be 4 for me.
And I want to add that just like we discussed Omarion Hampton and his value, not only is he a great player, but the position that he's in, being on the Chargers with that coach and that
Correct.
system, increases his value. Pete Carroll is the same scenario. Think about who was his running back that was so successful. Beast mode himself, Marshawn Lynch, right? He loves to run the football. And in tight situations at the goal line, I don't think he's going to make the same mistake that he made in the past and throw the football. It's going to go to our boy Jainty. That's why they drafted him as high as they did. Enough said.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing with Saquon, right? Like, however you feel about Jalen, at the end of the day, they're a run-first team, so they're not changing that. Same thing for Jonathan Taylor. The coach just named Daniel Jones the starter. So, bro, that move alone, I instantly moved them up because I was like, oh, they got to be running the hell out of the ball because there's no way they think that this guy's a savior. So it says a lot about Anthony Richardson, man. My goodness.
I'll give you my thoughts on Jonathan Taylor when we bring up my list because I have an interesting take on the Daniel Jones situation and how that's going to influence his production. But go ahead, continue.
Okay. So you'll see with Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, it's hard, man, because I think they're studs. For Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey, because they both had injury histories. It's just more about staying healthy. Christian McCaffrey could easily be higher if he's healthy. The same thing for Jonathan Taylor. Honestly, you could rearrange the next 3 to 6 because, right, like Saquon, his only barrier would be injury, but he falls into that same category where potential is off the charts, but those are factors you're just unsure of. And
you're drafting with a greater risk.
Correct. Like with the first 2, you're like, oh, these are home run. The 3 to 6, you're like, high reward, medium risk, right? Like it's not like they're bad players, so it's not a high risk, but still the injury factor there. And then Ashon Jeanty is just a rookie, so that's where that comes in. But after Christian McCaffrey at 6, I have Derrick Henry, the behemoth that runs behind Lamar Jackson. I actually think that I think what's going to happen for him is early on, he's going to not have gaudy numbers because I think that people are going to want to see Lamar continue to progress as a passer, which I think he will kind of show people that he can be an accurate passer in the pocket. So, but I think as the season goes on, man, and teams are starting to get tired and defense is on the field for too long, you're going to just see the beast unleash. So I have him at 7. Achane is interesting, dude. And I'm gonna tell you why I put him at 8. This dude had 78 receptions last year, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Who was throwing him the ball? I have no idea. And you have 78 receptions? Unbelievable. That just tells me, 1, you're splitting carries. 2, we don't know who the quarterback is, and you still had 78 receptions and 900 yards rushing. He won't be splitting carries as much this year. He'll get the bulk of the carries. You get Tua back, right? So that should help the offense stay prolific in terms of the passing game. And I think that just opens up more opportunities for Achane because now he'll have Tua back. But at the same time, you can't load the box anymore because they actually have an accurate passer at quarterback.
Yep.
All right. And then at 9, I have Bucky Irving. Shocked me. If you would have told me Bucky would have had this kind of season, I'd have there's obviously no way. But he had 1,100 yards and 47 receptions. I don't see that stopping at all. I think that they'll continue to rely on him. And the fact that he's versatile in both the run and pass game makes him that much more of an asset. And then to wrap out my list, I have Josh Jacobs 10, Kyron Williams 11, and then James Cook. Dude, I think James Cook is going to have a fantastic year. He had a great year last year. I think that's only going to evolve. So that's why I ended up putting him 12 because I think that's his floor, but I think his ceiling could end up being top 10 somewhere, maybe closer to the back of that, but still. So that's why I had him ahead of Chase Brown and Omarion Hampton.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of this. There's two guys on this list that I really would have liked to see higher. Derrick Henry being one, and Kyron Williams being the second. I agree with everything else that you said. The reasoning behind everything, spot on. And as I compare, I'll bring up mine. Right. So with my list,
real quick, Mike, to answer your question, it was hard with Derrick Henry, man. Not your question, your statement, but it was hard with Derrick Henry because he's just not a pass catcher. And I've seen plenty of times where they kind of pulled him out. Everyone else on my list has that element in their game. And for that, it was just like, like I really have to rely on rushing yards and TDs, which, I mean, he's notorious for doing. But, everyone else just added elements with the receptions. That was really all.
No, which I think that makes sense, especially in a PPR league. Does that hurt his value a little bit? Yeah. But I don't think that – I mean, I can't see his scoring touchdowns slowing down. Like
not at all.
and so like, do I care more about him receiving, the ball or just constantly scoring touchdowns, picking up big gains that make no sense, but he's doing it. Like I just don't, in that Ravens offense, he just fits so well. I don't think we're going to see that slow down much. And like you had mentioned, injury has been a big issue with a lot of these running backs. This guy, despite his age and the wear and tear, we're not seeing him slow down. The guy's putting almost $2 million into his body every year just to keep him healthy. I think he's one of the more durable running backs. And for me, when I'm drafting, if I'm drafting a running back high, I want to know I'm going to have him. Speaking from a guy who, even though in a previous league, not in ours, a few years ago, back when Jonathan Taylor was like the guy and he was the number one ranked running back, I drafted him with the number one overall spot. Sure enough, he gets hurt right away. He's out for the entire season. And, I was fortunate enough to be an absolute savage on the waiver wire to help save my season and take it all the way. But that was not enjoyable. That was brutal. And so if I'm going to take a guy that's going to be earlier on, I want to feel good about their durability to a degree. So for me, I let durability also weigh in, as you'll see places for like CMC where he falls to 7. For me, it just durability, I let play some level of a factor. Now, Saquon, his production is just so good that I couldn't drop him lower than 3. Bijan, Jameer, I mean, dude, they're the two of them and Saquon and Derrick Henry. Those are like that to me. That's like top tier. If you want to break that up, then you have 1A, 1B, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I love the spot that you had for Ashton Jeanty. I loved it. I think that it was he's right up there for what we discussed. I have Devon Achane pretty high, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for all the reasons I mentioned, right?
100%. And I think that, if you want to draft a Dolphin player that is going to be exciting and that's probably going to do you some good production, I think this is his year. I think this is the year we see, right? This is his 3rd year in the league. Like, I think he's going to be the premier back there. And with his speed, his ability to catch the ball, like you said, it just makes sense. If they have a healthy Tua, I just don't see how without a healthy Tua, he put up those numbers. With a healthy Tua, like now teams are going to have to play back with these unbelievable receivers in those underneath routes, but you could let him run. Oh my God, it's going to be great. So I feel very good about it. It's going to open up the running game too.
Yep.
So I like him at 6. CMC, guys, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I have my first draft tonight. I just might not draft him. I love Christian McCaffrey, and I'm praying that he has a good season for him. I'll draft him, but it's going to be a value pick. He's going to have to fall to a position where everyone else is scared to draft him as well, which I don't see happening. And then he's sitting there, and then I'm going to say, this is a Shedeur Sanders moment where the value is too good for me to move on, and I'm just going to have to take him. Because for everything I just said about the durability, like we haven't even seen him play in over a year. And we know that most guys that at the running back position, with continual injuries year after year, like they add up, and now they lose a step and so on and so forth. The beautiful part about Christian McCaffrey is that he's such a good receiving running back that I think that he still is going to hold value. And Isaac Guerrero, who's, in the backfield there, 4.3 speed. He's great. He's probably going to get some more carries, may take the load off of CMC a little bit, which I think is going to be a good thing for CMC and for his health. So, I think that it's still potential there. Kyren Williams, dude, I think you had him too low. I know. I read all the forums. I know everyone has this guy out of the top 10. People saying, look out for Kyren, Blake Corum. Dude, I love Blake Corum at Michigan. I love Blake Corum in Michigan. He was awesome. Bro, he got like no snaps last year. He really didn't. And I just...
So you foresee that happening again?
Dude, they just extended Kyren Williams to a bigger contract, and because they're saying that you're our guy. And he's a stud. I don't see why there's any reason. He's young. This is his third year in the league. Why is he going to slow up? He's only 1 year in the league longer than Blake Corum, and Blake Corum doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the elusiveness, and Kyren Williams is already shown that he can get the job done. I think Blake Corum is going to get some snaps because you're going to have to let any running back take a blow. But like even in goal line scenarios, when last year we thought that Blake Corum was going to get a lot of the goal line snaps, the dude didn't. So is he going to get more of that this year? Maybe. But I really don't think we're going to see a lot of Kyren Williams production drop the way others have been saying. So we'll see. Now, the one I want to discuss, Jonathan Taylor. As a New York Giants fan who has watched Daniel Jones perform for the last 6 years as a New York Giants quarterback. Yes, he is now the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And despite having, guys like Quentin Nelson, that offensive line is no longer the top tier one that it used to be. It's not it's middle tier, I would say. I am concerned that teams are going to stack the box and say, hey, DJ, prove to us that you need to throw that we have to honor your ability to throw the football, because that's exactly what happened every game. 8 men in the box. We couldn't get the running game moving because even when we had Saquon Barkley. Okay, yeah, we had a bad offensive line. I get it. But despite that, when we moved to the passing game, we couldn't move the ball at all. So do I think that Daniel Jones is in a better position to succeed in Indianapolis? I do. I am concerned that his lack of ability to move the ball through the passing game is going to cause other teams to stack the box, to slow up the running game. And as good as Jonathan Taylor is, if Saquon Barkley couldn't do it, you can't convince me that Jonathan Taylor is going to do it. I believe him at the 10 spot here because I think his value as a running back is top 10 value. He is a great running back, and he should be necessarily higher. But because of the scenario, I'm concerned. What are your thoughts on that?
So my only pushback then is, why was he still so productive last year with a terrible Anthony Richardson?
You make a good point, but, Anthony Richardson didn't play a lot of the year.
Well, when he did, he still was productive in terms of Jonathan Taylor. So for me, it was like, for me, it's like, it doesn't matter who's kind of there. He is just such a beast. He'll get it done. That's my only rationale behind that. Because shoot, if you tell me, I would prefer Daniel Jones just has to be anything better than what Anthony Richardson was, just for them to have a formidable run game. And I think that he's way better than Anthony Richardson as a passer.
As do I. Jason McCourty was on the Pat McAfee show today, and he made a very interesting point. He was asked on this topic as a defender, if you have to now defend as a defensive back the Colts, would you rather face Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson? And he said, despite Daniel Jones necessarily giving them a better chance to win, he can run the offense better, he's more reliable, makes apparently better decisions. There's a known factor that you kind of know what you're dealing with when you're playing Daniel Jones. He said, as a defender, you're more concerned with the unknown because you don't know what you're going to get with the Anthony Richardson effect, because his ability to just make such great runs and flashy plays when it does happen. So he said, even though the start, which I thought was an interesting perspective. So I'm just saying, maybe that had an impact on the running game last year, which allowed Jonathan Taylor to perform at the level that he did from a fantasy perspective. Listen, I'm not saying don't draft draft Jonathan Taylor. I'm just saying I got him at 10 instead of 6.
No, and that's fair. That's fair.
I think that they're going to stack the box a ton against these Colts. And until they say, prove it to us, I know they got Michael Pitt. They have a better receiving core. They have a great tight end and rookie Tyler Warren, right? So they should be able to move the ball better than the Giants did with Daniel Jones. There's no excuse. He absolutely should be able to move the ball better. Now it's just a matter of prove it, and then we won't stack the box. And I really think that that's going to happen because if anyone studies the tape on DJ, he's got to prove himself. They have 6 years of data there.
Yeah. No, and you're right. I guess I'm looking at the glass half full. The fact that he does have a better supporting cast, new environment.
He does.
Sometimes that's what you need, new environment. Because, bro, the Colts are still going to be a run-heavy team. So there's times, man, guys were running wide open, and Anthony Richards couldn't hit them. Do I have full faith that Daniel Jones will? I mean, jury's out. I mean, I don't.
I think he got a better shot. I do think he's a better shot.
For sure.
Yeah.
And if he can just make them formidable down the field, because they have weapons, man. They do have some weapons. If he can hit some of them, I think that then that will create some respect for the offense. And now you can't just hone in and stack the box. I'm just assuming that's what should happen because he was so bad in the passing game. Anthony Richardson do that. I just think anything will keep some guys off of him if possible. But no, either way, it makes sense why you chose to put him there.
Yeah. Lastly, I love your honorable mentions in Chase Brown and Marion Hampton. Boom, there they are. They made the top 15 for me. I am totally okay with Chase Brown or Marion Hampton being, if you can get him as a number, hypothetically speaking, if you can get them as your number, especially in Marion Hampton, your number 2 running back, you're doing great, right? It depends on how big your draft is and what you take in the first round. If I go wide receiver first round, I'm looking and I'm seeing who's there. If all those guys are already gone, which they shouldn't be if you're in a 10-man league because there's going to be a lot of receivers that go, you probably can get someone higher up. But if you're drafting running back heavy in the beginning, like our buddy Raheem always does, you very well may make out quite well. Chase Brown, dude, listen, man, there's a reason why Joe Mixon isn't a Bengal anymore, right? And we know that happened 2 years ago because this guy was up and coming since I think he's just gonna, as long as he stays healthy, he's gonna be so good this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I like him at the 12 spot. And Bucky Irving, I think 11 is the floor.
Yeah, man.
I didn't give him top 10 just because I want consistency. I want to see Kenny do it again. But I think that you drafting Bucky Irving is it's better that you should feel good about it. It's not something that you make, damn, I got Bucky Irving. I think he's going to produce pretty well for you. And that's really it. That's really, any other comments on the top 15?
Yeah, so I'm curious to get your take. You have James Cook a little lower than I did.
Yeah.
What's your feel on him?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Statistically not bad. That Bills offense is just interesting to me. It's productive. They get things done, but I don't like. I feel like I have difficulty understanding their identity each year. Their identity is Josh Allen, right? It's just Josh Allen. Does that mean we're gonna put the ball in his hands and we're just gonna let him do his thing? And I feel like Buffalo running backs are productive and they do well, but they just don't wow me. So for me, I don't want, if James Cook is my number 1 running back, I better have 2 stud receivers I feel great about. I just feel like this is another running back that I'm probably going to try to prioritize drafting one of these other guys first to avoid him being my number 1. That's really all it is. It's not that I have anything against James Cook. He just got that big contract, It's just I think that you're going to have more production out of the other ones, personally.
Yeah, so that your last part is why I took him, because once he got paid, I was like, oh, so you guys think that he's, a top running back
No,
because he got a decent contract. So I was like, you're going to
he was
give him
holding
more
out for a while.
opportunities to prove that. Yeah, you're going to give him more opportunities to prove that. Two, I don't know how I didn't watch a ton of Bills football. I don't know how often they did this, but I think he's a spark plug out of the backfield. I think you can put him in read option. I think you can give him he has very soft hands. I think that you can continue to rely on trying to get him the ball in space because he's a firecracker when he gets it. So because of the contract and because like the different dimensions that he can bring to the offense, I just imagine that his role would expand more in this upcoming
And I think
season.
you're right. I think I do. I think 14 for him is the floor.
Okay.
I think it's the floor. Like I truly don't think he. I really do. I think it's the floor. I think, if I would be shocked if he's anything worse than the top 15, right? Like, I agree. I think like the swing passes out of the backfield, he's had a lot of success with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a lot to be said about what's to come with him. I simply just think that the production with these fantasy production with these other backs is just going to be simply greater. I just think that they're just going to have more points over the course of the season than him. But I don't think that it's saying that he's not going to be a good back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, overall, I like your list. I mean, we had just some players in different places, but overall, not too much of a difference between our list. Just matter of preference.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. So, I mean, I feel pretty good about it. I think running back is a position. This is a philosophy comment. I think running back is a position that you don't want to wait on too long. Nor do you want to wait long on the next group that we'll be talking about shortly. So with that being said, those who are interested in tight ends, stay tuned. We'll have our tight end show after this 5-minute intermission. Stay tuned for the legend, Dr. MJB, myself, Dr. Mikey B. This was the Doc.